It's time for the Potawatomi Fire Coaches Corner. Featuring two-time TBL Coach of the Year, Fire Head Coach Mark Danoff. And now here's the host of the Coaches Corner, Chris Cox.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Coaches Corner here on the Potawatomi Fire Broadcast Network. It's regional finals week here in the TBL, and I'm Chris Cox, and joined by Fire Head Coach Mark Danoff. Coach, your Fire took on Logansport last week in the Midwest Conference Finals. Y'all got another sweep last week. How'd you feel about the way that y'all played?
Yeah, especially the first night. I was really pleased with our focus, the execution of our schemes on both ends of the floor. I thought our guys came with great energy, really got after them on both ends, especially the defensive end, limited them to one shot, and then were able to get out in transition and score and pressure the rim for us in both the half court and transition. So excited about that and the way we played. We were really good that first night. The second night, I thought we were good as well. It's always hard to play 2 games in a weekend as always, which could have been 3, but we feel like we were pretty prepared throughout the season, how we approach our double and triple games in a weekend. So I was really pleased, especially we love the outcome, of course, but just the way we executed, the way we played, and just got the job done.
Looking at game 1 specifically, like you said, it really couldn't have gone much better. 160-90 was the final score. And it really seemed like it was a combination, one, of you guys playing at your best level, and then also Logansport, for one reason or another, just not being on their A game. No,
absolutely. A combination of, them getting here and getting prepared. But, really, I told our guys, we were the reason that the outcome was the way it was. I mean, just the way we played with such great energy, focus, scoring the ball, executing the things that we need to do on that offensive end. But more importantly, the way we defended their stuff, the way we were on top of everything. They average, I think, 18.5 offensive rebounds a game. I think we gave up 11. So we were doing the things we needed to do. We challenged every shot. And I told the guys after the first game in film session, I said, we challenged every single shot. I mean, it was outstanding. And I thought we carried that over in the next game.
Yeah, when you score 160 points, which did tie a team record, it's easy to look at the offense and talk about how good the offense was, which it was, but it was the defense, I think, in game 1 that really carried you. Like you said, you pressured every shot. You rebounded really well on the defensive end. You held them to under 37% shooting.
Yeah, and they're a good shooting team.
Yeah, they are.
They really are. They've got some guys that can really light it up, shoot high percentages, especially from the 3. But we were there on the catch. We challenged it. We were able to be there and stay in front when they tried to drive. But we were really good, and I thought our defense created a lot of offensive opportunities for ourselves.
Yeah, looking at the offense, it was really efficient. And obviously, when you score 160 points, you're probably going to be efficient. Shot 56% from the field. You hit 53% of your threes, and you only turned it over 9 times and grabbed 25 offensive rebounds. I mean, you really were able to maximize every possession.
No, absolutely. And they were keys for us were, to go to the glass, give us second and third opportunities in the possession, to value the basketball, not give up opportunities to shoot. And the guys went out and did exactly that, besides just executing the things we were doing offensively and taking advantage of the things that we had out there, whether that be a mismatch or something that we would run that created issues for them and optioning out their defense.
Looking at game 2 now, Logansport, they came out and, as you would expect, they played better in game 2. It was still ultimately, though, a fairly comfortable win for y'all, 134-109.
Yeah, and we met in film session and shoot around, just said, hey, listen, they're going to play better. That's the first adjustment they're going to make, is they're going to play better, they're going to shoot better. Certainly they're going to make other adjustments, whether that's their help defense, how they're going to play the post, how they're going to do some things. But most importantly, that they were going to play better, and that it was important for us to stick to the things that we did at a high level and continue to do that and have carryover from game 1.
You mentioned after the game how hard it is to close out a team, because obviously Logansport has a lot of pride. They're trying to keep their season alive, and so they're going to throw everything that they can at you guys.
They have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
So they've got to do whatever it takes to be successful. And even as we got into the third and fourth quarter, you could see that on their face. In fact, they became more aggressive trying to get downhill. they shot more freely, knowing that this is their time. It's either now or never. And when teams do that, they become dangerous. And I thought our guys handled it really well.
In Game 2, Deshaun Munson was absolutely fantastic. He had his second triple-double of the season, 11 points, 12 assists, and a team record 26 rebounds. But then on top of that, he was active defensively with 3 blocks and 4 steals. I mean, he really looked like that vintage Munson that we've seen the past few years.
Yeah, he tends to turn it on when it becomes playoff time. I looked at halftime at the stat sheet. He already had 15 rebounds, and I just shake my head. I mean, who has 15 rebounds in the first half, But you could tell he was locked in. He had a really good weekend, defended both games. He shot it better the second night. And just by looking it down, he missed a couple early the first night, just kind of, flipping it up there or expecting it to go in, and the ball bounced around and didn't. But he shot the ball well at the first game and second game. He shot over 50% both nights. Made free throws, executed on both ends. He was really good.
Chuck Guy, another big game as well in Game 2 was 16 points, 17 assists, 4 steals. He really was, it looked like through the first 3 quarters, especially trying to get teammates involved. But when you needed those big buckets to finally put Logansport away, he was there.
Well, exactly. And that's what he does. He tries to get his teammates involved, tries to get them looks, try to put them in situations where they can be successful out of the stuff we do. And then when we need baskets, he can go ahead and go get them for himself and for us.
Yeah.
And there's times I tell him, you need to take that shot. He goes, well, I know what you're trying to do, but, we could use those 2 points or that 3-point shot or whatever. But he's so unselfish, and he's trying to, have everybody be involved and get everybody going. And he does an excellent job of doing that, as well as all the leadership he provides us.
In Game 2, your offense still really good, but maybe wasn't quite as clean as Game 1. You did turn the ball over 23 times. How did you feel about overall the offense?
Yeah, I mean, I like the offense. I just thought we were a little looser with our passing.
Okay.
I think that Game 1 probably had a little bit to do with that. Logansport was better defensively. They were better on both ends. They were rested, ready to go, laying everything on the line. And I thought we just didn't have that locked-in focus on some of our passes. But at the same time, with that being said, we still scored 130-some points.
Yeah,
so,
that's true.
We do need to take care of the ball better as we move through the playoffs. But I like the direction this team is trending.
You always talk about playing your best basketball in June when the playoffs roll around. It feels like y'all are doing that now, 4-0, and really you've been playing great basketball these past couple weeks. Yeah,
I really thought that first night against Logansport, 48 minutes from everybody just at the highest level.
Yeah.
But you're right, going back to Enid to begin the playoffs, a good Enid team, a good Logansport team, and now we'll see a really good Great Falls team. But we're trending that way, and I still think our ceiling's high, and we can still be even better. But I like the direction we're going.
After these first 2 weeks of the playoffs, where are some areas that you do want to see things get cleaned up?
Well, I think it's the same things we've been talking about all year, because we keep getting better and better. But at the same time, there's always room for improvement.
Right.
Like, I think our rebounding has really gotten better on both ends of the floor. We're going on the offensive end and providing more opportunities. We're not giving our opponents second and third and fourth chances. I think us being there on the catch and challenging shots and taking away protecting the paint, taking away dribble penetration, all those things we work on all the time. You're in practice, you see us spend time on those things. It's not just get out there and then go 5-on-5. We're working on things. We're talking about things and making corrections, making adjustments, no matter who we're playing or what may work for us, what might not work for us. So I think all those areas, and then just continuing to value the basketball, and share the ball is big for us.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and take a break, and when Coach and I come back, we'll talk about this weekend's matchup with the Great Falls Electric. This is the Coach's Corner here on the Potawatomi Fire Broadcast Network.
Saturday, July 12th, Fire Lake Arena in Shawnee presents a summer concert blockbuster.
Smell of whiskey burning down Copperhead Road.
The Oklahoma return of Steve Earle, plus special guest Reckless Kelly.
Ragged as the road I'm
Don't miss Oklahoma's own The Mike McClure duo, Crow and Gazelle. Saturday, July 12th. The doors open at 7. The show starts at 8. Tickets available at FireLakeArena.com. Saturday, July 12th, Fire Lake Arena on Hardesty Road in Shawnee.
Are you ready to elevate your business with a new technology partner? Vive provides lightning-fast fiber internet up to 10 gigs, along with powerful technology solutions that enhance your security, productivity, and efficiency. Our dedicated team of business consultants will identify your business needs and recommend solutions to address your challenges. Don't wait. Claim your free technology evaluation today. Visit business.vivebroadband.com and discover why Vive is the premier choice for your business success.
Welcome back to the Coach's Corner here on the Potawatomi Fire Broadcast Network. I'm Chris Cox. I'm joined by Fire head coach Mark Danoff. And Coach, this weekend, your Fire, y'all take on the Great Falls Electric in the West Regional Finals. It's the third straight year that y'all have reached the Western Regional Finals. And first off, you know, I don't think people fully understand how difficult that is to do, to keep getting to this point in the season every single year. Can you talk about that just a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it's really a credit to our guys. And, you know, we do have a lot of returners who help the newcomers in understanding how difficult that is. With great leadership, we're player driven. But it's not easy. And our guys will tell you that every year it gets harder and harder, especially when you've been there before. Everybody wants to be the team that knocks you out. And you always have to play your best and take on everybody's best shot every night and overcome that. All three of these teams, including Great Falls, as we're about to approach that, are all very, very good teams. They're going to give you everything they want. They all play extremely hard, and they've got really good talent. So it hasn't been an easy run for us, and it never has for 3 years. But our guys are ready to meet that head on, lean on each other, stay connected, and do the things that we need to do to be successful. So it's hard to explain how hard it really is.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of work by our guys. It's a lot of work, you know, by our staff. But I really give a lot of the credit to the guys for just staying focused, working hard, and earning every win they get.
When you look at this matchup between you guys and Great Falls, you know, I think it's probably one of the better matchups that TBL will see this season, because those two teams, along with maybe Frederick, have been among the top 2 or 3 teams all season long.
Yeah, but you know, and even Capital has only lost like 5 games on the year, and there's several teams that only lost 3 or 4 that got knocked out early. You know, so I think it's 4 really good quality basketball teams in the Final Four here. But Great Falls is a very good team. We've got some familiar faces on the other side in a different uniform. All good players. They've got other pieces around them that are very strong, very, very good players, and they play extremely hard. So we know that, especially going there, we've got our work cut out for us. But as usual, we approach everything as a business trip and hoping to come out on the right side.
You kind of touched on the elephant in the room, so let's go ahead and get that out of the way. A lot of ties between these two teams. Great Falls has 3 players in Katie Moore, Lyle Hexum, and TJ Maston that all played here and all won championships here. As a coach, and I don't know how much you've even run into this in TBL, but how is it when you have to coach against somebody that you've coached before, especially a guy like KD, who you've coached now who you had coached for the previous 3 seasons?
Well, it's always great to see them.
Right.
But obviously they're family, and family forever. But at the end of the day, it's competition, and the ball's tossed up. You know, they're going to compete as hard against us as we're going to compete against them. Certainly wish everybody, you know, the most success. And if they were to advance from here, we'd certainly be pulling for them. And I think they would be pulling for us as well if we advance. But all really quality young men who did some really good stuff here with the Fire. And we look for a really good battle. But, you know, all good guys, good players, and certainly they're going to want to win as much as we do.
KD and TJ played with 7 of these guys that are on the Fire roster. Lyle played with 4 of them. What have the guys been saying this week leading up to this matchup?
Absolutely nothing.
Okay.
There hasn't been a whole lot of talk about. Certainly we prepare and film and watch personnel and things they do, but there really hasn't been a lot of conversation about, you know, KD or TJ, other than they still have relationships with them, but this is a business week and we handle it just like any other week. The CBL tends to have a lot of players that guys know each other.
Yeah.
So even though that these guys have been a little bit closer and played together and things like that, there really hasn't been a lot of conversation, and we certainly wish the best for everybody.
Looking more on the court, players leave for a variety of reasons. One of the reasons KD left was he wanted to be the guy on a team, and he just wasn't going to really have that opportunity here. Well, he's gone to Great Falls, and he's really, I think, turned into the leader of that team, and he's playing just on the court, playing really good basketball.
No, he's had an incredible season. And he's, I haven't talked to their coach or anything, but I think he's had an influence on the rest of his team about getting them to play hard and showing his leadership. And, that's on top of having a terrific career or a season himself. KD works extremely hard in the off season to prepare for the upcoming season, and he's earned everything he's received to this point.
When one thing with former players is that their strengths and weaknesses, but they also know your scheme and what you want to do. How much do you try to maybe swing that to your advantage? Is there anything as a coach you can do to kind of limit, maybe what they know about you guys?
Well, there's adjustments, and there's things that, you want to do to give yourself an advantage, no matter what that be, whether that be one-on-one defending or as a team or executing your offensive stuff. When you get to a certain point, for example, playing Enid 8 times, they knew what we wanted to do.
That's true.
You just have to be better at running it, or executing it than the defense. So I'm sure they're doing their part in scouting us and figuring out what things that they can do and be successful against us and what may or may not work, just as we are against them. And then it'll come down to the guys making plays and executing our stuff better than them.
Looking at Great Falls a little bit more broadly, they're obviously a very good team. They're at this point for a reason. They're 21-3 in the regular season, 4-0 this postseason. They're a good team that goes beyond the players that we just talked about.
Oh, absolutely. They've got a really big post player in Robert Upshaw, who's really talented, knows how to use his body, finish around the rim, does his work early to give position where he can be successful, and he's a handful in the paint. They've got a couple guys around him that can shoot the basketball, so they can play inside out to go along with Hexum, who shoots the ball extremely well from the perimeter. So they got a lot of pieces. It's not just those three. Obviously we're more familiar with those three.
Right.
But they're a good basketball team. So we got some work to do. And the one thing about our guys, I know we're going to compete and we're going to play. And the expectation is to come away successful.
Offensively, the Electric have been, just that. They've been electric offensively. They lead TBL in scoring at over 129 points per game. They shoot the ball efficiently from the field, from behind the three-point line. What have you seen from their offense?
Well, first part, they really get out and run. Really pressure the rim in transition. As soon as they have that ball secured, and sometimes before they have it secured, they're down the floor and try to get easy basket, easy points throughout the game. On the offensive end, they do a pretty good job spacing. We're going to see a lot of ball screens from various parts of the floor, all thirds of it, and they're going to pound the ball inside to Mr. Upshaw, and they're going to take that three-point shot. And if they're shooting it well, they can put up really good numbers.
We know what Katie Moore and Lyle Hexum can do offensively. They're the two leading scorers for this team. And you mentioned Robert Upshaw. He's a beast down low, 7 feet, almost 300 pounds. But one guy who kind of seems to be one of those glue guys is Antoine Cushenberry, their point guard. He runs the point a lot, and he's one of those really good three-point shooters that if you leave him alone, if you focus too much on the other guys, he can make you pay.
Yeah, he's a very solid point guard, good player, good ball defender, can get to the paint and create for himself and others. And you got to get to him, because if he has time and space, he can knock your three down.
What's it going to take to slow down this electric offense?
Well, like I usually say, it can slow down the run and then transition by making baskets.
Okay.
The other part is just making sure that we get back, get the ball contained, protect the rim, and get matched up as quickly as we can, and just make sure that we're not giving them opportunities off our turnovers or just not getting back. So we got to get back and get everything corralled and make them run half-court offense.
Great Falls defensively, because I think they do get out and run so much on the offensive end, they're giving up some points defensively as well. Where have teams been finding success against the Great Falls defense?
Well, in one, we can run it right back at them,
Okay.
pressure the rim on our end. Once we get it secure, we can get out and get transition baskets. I think the other thing is just good spacing, forcing them to help and make them recover. They do gamble a little bit. They will overhelp at times, but put them in situations where they have to make decisions defensively, and then for us to make the right reads.
As with any best of 3 series, game 1 is always very important. For the first time really in a couple of weeks, y'all are going to be on the road and you're making a long trip up to Montana for this game. What will it take for y'all to get the victory on this road trip?
Well, we're just going to have to play our basketball, our brand of basketball. We're going to play extremely hard with a lot of energy, great effort, execute our schemes on both ends of the floor at a high level, value the basketball, and just not allow a lot of opportunities for them to create second and third chances for them. We're going to try to do that on our end. We're going to try to limit them and take away some things that they've been successful with. But at the end of the day, we have to play to the level we've been playing at. And if we do that, I think we have a great chance to be successful.
All right, Coach. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's going to do it for this edition of the Coach's Corner. The Potawatomi Fire will tip off Game 1 of the West Regional Finals Thursday night in Great Falls, Montana. That game will tip off at 8 p.m. Central Time. You can watch the game on TBL TV. You can also hear my call of the game on KGFF Radio, 100.9 FM, 1450 AM. And then the series after that will shift back to Shawnee for Games 2 and 3. Game 2 will be on Sunday. That is Father's Day, 7 p.m. for tip-off for that game. Game 3, if it's needed, will be on Monday, also at 7 p.m. Both those games inside Fire Lake Arena. Tickets to Game 2 and 3, by the way, are on sale now, so you can go ahead and get those tickets now. You can buy tickets at PottawatomieFire.com/tickets or by calling the Fire Lake Arena box office. And then, of course, for more news and notes on the Fire and TBL, be sure to follow the Fire on social media. You can find them on Twitter, X, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. You can also find more information, including information about our upcoming kids camp on the Potawatomi Fire website at PottawatomieFire.com. That's going to do it for us today. For Fire Head Coach Mark Danoff, I'm Chris Cox, and I'll talk to you next time right here on the Potawatomi Fire Broadcast Network.